So you'll sit down, you'll test the height, and then I'll quickly jump in just to do the intro, and then I'll get up from there. Oh, that's perfect. Why is
it really wide? Oh, it's pretty wide. Let's back here.
Is that nice? Well, you get comfy, I'll move back. What's the natural comfy? There we go. That looks comfy. Is that too short now?
Well, big hood.
No drawstring.
Waste of space.
Waste of space.
Yeah, this is fine.
Happy with that?
Yeah, unless you want like a wider shot.
That's perfect.
Nice and close.
No, that's perfect. Alright, you get up, I'll sit down quickly, just the intro, and then I'll clap you in. Ready?
I'm being interviewed, how exciting!
I'm so excited. G'day legends, welcome back to Mikey Talk. Today we have episode 31. Bit of a rattle on the floor. It's another exciting guest episode. This guy is the founder of Art of Mondays, where he's been building a community full of founders and entrepreneurs from all across the world that have the common goal of building a lifestyle business. So also been running like residencies across the world in different cities. I had the pleasure of attending one in New Zealand at the start of this year, which is where I first met him. So I'm really excited to introduce you to Evan Bryce.
Nice, let's do it. I've been waiting for this moment.
Your whole life.
I got to wear my new Good Ideas hoodie, so I'm excited.
Good human coming soon. So where are we at the moment? We're in Dandenongs Ranges?
We're near the town of Olinda in the Dandenongs Ranges. Do you want me to talk to you, Mikey, or talk to the camp? What's easiest?
Go back and forth, whatever feels natural, it's all good.
Alright. Let's have a chat, me and you then.
Let's do it. Yeah.
So we are in Olinda, the Dandenongs Ranges, and this is actually a place I used to come to as a kid and as a teenager with my family. We'd go to Miss Marple's and we'd go to the Cuckoo nearby on a weekend and came up here with the grandparents quite a lot. So now I'm here with Rach and Stan and Ev and showing them a place that actually is quite special to me. So it's nice to be here.
And we got a bit of rain on the first day of summer.
We do. Yeah.
Alright, so I've got 10 questions for you. Ready to jump in?
Let's hit me with it, and I'm gonna go back to the camera because that feels more natural for me.
Go for it, mate.
Unlike most people. Yeah, I'm a bit weird like that.
So you just finished up a whole year of non-stop travel on the road. Can you take me back to the very first moment you decided to start Art of Mondays?
Yeah, so this year has been full-on travel, running residencies all around the world with our members and building Art of Mondays into a global movement. The year before, 2024, was a lot more about building the foundation for the business and building up the brand, getting the reps in, showing up on those days where I didn't want to show up. And it's really clear now, it's almost been 2 years since Art of Mondays existed. And it's nice to see the whole journey zooming out. Taking you back to the moments where Art of Mondays first began, actually it was a conversation with me and Jai. Jai is co-founder of Art of Mondays. We're two co-founders, and he and I knew each other actually through a podcast that I was hosting back at a marketing agency. And Jai and I clicked on a few things, values, wanting to travel, wanting to upskill and learn and to constantly be developing our own skills. So we wanted to work together, we just never really had the right thing. There was a lot of ideas. There was a moment in time where I almost joined his agency, but just wasn't perfect. But then one day he gave me a call. He said, "What about this idea?" And the idea was Art of Mondays. It was a community for entrepreneurs, founders who had the same values as us. So it was part business, but also part lifestyle and personal. And that, I mean, there's so many business communities out there, so many business organizations as well. I think from day one, that's what set us apart, is that Jai and I had a shared set of values, and we imprinted those values onto Art of Mondays, things like health, travel, wellness, growth, balance, designing a life of freedom, financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom. And then the people who we attracted to this community were the people who shared the same values as we did. And it's been like that ever since. So if we deemed that someone may be like a weapon in business, but not necessarily aligned in living the life that we want to live. It's okay to be different, like nothing wrong with that. There's just different strokes for different folks, but then we're not the place for them, and we're okay with that. So that's where it all began, and since then, all the ups and downs, all the learnings, and it's been almost 2 years now. So I'm sure we'll get more into the story on Mikey's next questions.
And it's cool because I think because you kept it like that, the message clicks right away for anyone that it does resonate with. Like I remember the first time I saw anything to do with Art of Mondays, which was one of Jai's YouTube videos.
I know what your life used to look like. You tried a few businesses, failed a lot. Eventually you found something that worked, but it wasn't just an upwards curve. You hustled long hours, big days, you probably felt lonely, like there was nobody that truly understood the blood, sweat and tears that it takes to run a business, or more likely nobody that saw the world how you did.
It was like it felt like it was so clearly talking directly to me that it was like no-brainer that, okay, this is like somewhere that I want to be. So I think it's really cool that you had it direct and not just broad, like let everyone in.
Yeah, I think that any marketing or any product needs to be designed for one kind of person, because if you try to be for everyone, you end up being for no one. It's too vague, it's too broad. So we really just focus on that, the lifestyle founder, as we coined it, people like us who build online businesses and then travel and have that balance. And it's okay that we're not for 90% of founders out there, because if we were, we'd be just like everyone else and we'd have no point of differentiation, and then probably wouldn't exist at this point.
Very true. The name Art of Mondays, which I also love myself, it's actually Monday today. Mondays are my favorite days of the week because it's NFL Monday, so I can just chill out and watch football for 6 hours. What was your relationship like with Mondays before this all started?
Oh, good question. Well, credit to the name goes to Jai, and the short version of where the name came from, I think he was on the toilet somewhere in Lombok when he thought of this. But I'll let him tell that story another day. My relationship to Mondays, these days I don't really know what day it is most of the time. So whatever fear or the Sunday scaries, as they would, have you heard that term before? Yeah, Sunday scaries, when people know that work's coming up the next day. Like, I don't have that anymore because I'm just in the flow, which is both a good and a bad thing. My work and my play tends to blend together, and I have a lot more freedom to create my days with my structure, that how I see fit, but also that comes with like a lack of structure. Anyway, let's come back to the point. What do I think of Mondays at the moment? My opinion on them has changed. Right now, Mondays are actually feeling a little bit like the traditional Mondays, just because we're in quite a deep grind, I would say, for the business, and moving some things around and wanting to attract more members, restructuring some teams, and I'm personally getting more involved, so it does feel more like a grunt work period. But that's only the last month or so. Prior to that, I definitely felt the contrast. Like, probably sounds cliche, but I felt pretty free because I didn't have that association of Mondays being negative. I think I just most days get up and I'm excited to work, and I think it's less about the structure of the week and more about the passion. And for me, it's been so obvious the last couple of years with Art of Mondays that I am passionate about this, and therefore work doesn't feel like work, it feels more like play, which has made it a lot easier to just to keep going, to keep showing up when most people want to quit, because I know that there's a big vision at play here, and it's just like one brick at a time, building the house, building the castle. But I do remember, like, my early 20s, I worked a few corporate jobs. I was lucky that most of my jobs I liked. I've never had a job I hated, which actually was, I mean, that's another story, maybe we can add that as another question, but I remember Sundays being like meal prep and making sure I got a good night's sleep because we had a big week at the office ahead. Now I don't worry about that. I go to bed when I feel like it, and I wake up when I feel like it.
So did you used to have Sunday scaries?
I don't think I ever had the Sunday scaries, but I think, yeah, as I said, I liked my jobs most of the time. I got to be creative and got to develop my skill set. But what I did have was, I think it was like a feeling of being fed up with the routine and just knowing it's the same thing again and again, very monotonous way of living. 5:30 a.m, wake up, go to the gym class, get home, have breakfast, have a protein shake, go on the walking desk for an hour, build Art of Mondays, then walk to actual work, work there all day, come back home, have dinner, work on Art of Mondays again, read a book, go to sleep, repeat. Then the weekend comes around and it's usually like footy season or socialising, and for me there was never really too much downtime. So but that was only the year or so before I fully went all in on Art of Mondays and things started to gain traction.
Yeah, cool. I want to go back to the residency in New Zealand at Wanaka, which was February this year. So the first day was so special, and you created. Getting hot. Yeah, I'm cooking here as well.
Your good ideas with you is too
good. It's too good.
Yeah, let's go back to New Zealand. Take me back.
The first day was so special, and you created this environment where everyone could drop into such a judgment-free space. Walk me through how you engineered that.
Yeah, the residencies are an epic part of what Art of Mondays and the founder family is, and we've run, I think, 17 of them now. The one Mikey was on was number 9 or 10, if I'm remembering it correctly. And ever since the first one, we've just continually iterated on what's worked and taken away what hasn't worked as well as we hoped. We've played around with different structures, but I think we always have the same set of principles and the same fundamentals. It needs to have an inspiring space, needs to have a team that can create an inspirational experience, and it needs to have the right people, the right members, attendees, who are willing to lean in to whatever we throw at them. So there's a few different elements. There is more. We've written the whole playbook about it now, but the space is really important, the environment's really important, people, and then now we feel like we've got it down to a bit of a structure that works and that we can repeat, to the point that I, alongside Matt and Rach, facilitated a training for our next group of Art of Mondays residency leaders. So we know that this is the magic formula, this is what works. Get people to arrive, and once they've arrived, it's all about connection, then it's about collaboration, then it's about celebration of all of the experience that's come together. And I know for you, Mikey, the first few days were probably very intense in a good way, focusing on connection, but also stepping out of your comfort zone. And we just find that when that happens, when people let their walls down, take their masks off, that's when the real relationship building happens. And that's the magic that needs to happen at the beginning for all of the laughs and all of the problem solving sessions and the business related stuff to come later, because trust is built. So build the trust, have a lot of fun, and then this is probably more from a business perspective, but leave the members wanting more. We wouldn't want to get to the end and people say, yeah, that was enough, I got what I came for. We want, and we've seen it, we want the members to continue hanging out with each other, to want to go to more residencies, because so much great progress happens personally and professionally. And yeah, I mean, I've been to 15 or something now personally, so yeah, I've seen it firsthand.
I did not want to go home. When it got to the end of it, I wasn't okay, this is being great, we got it all, I'm ready to go home. It was, no, I want to stay in this little bubble forever.
Yeah. I feel like that.
So you've run roughly a residency a month all over the world for the last year or so. What's been an unexpected challenge at building a business nomadically?
An unexpected challenge from building a business nomadically? So many. The main one is that I for the most part, have no structure. As someone who was hyper-structured, as I mentioned, my early morning wake up, my gym class, etc. But being on the road, different time zones, always different locations, different accommodation, different food, different languages, different people I'm living with, sometimes solo, sometimes small groups, sometimes big groups. It's a constant state of adapting, and that has often made me feel like I'm never fully settled and always a little bit on edge. So the main thing for me is I just don't have an off switch, or I haven't during this period of travel, because while hosting residencies, which go for 10 days, 12 days, then there's a couple of days beforehand, a couple of days afterwards for preparation and debriefing and recharging. And then there's usually 1 to 2 weeks where not much is happening, like on face value, but actually that's when I'm catching up on the business, because I still have Art of Mondays to run when I'm not running the residency. So that has been the pattern for the last 12 months. Run the residency, catch up on Art of Mondays, fly to the next country, run the next one, rinse and repeat. That's been the challenge. It's been amazing. I've been to, I think, 15 or 16 countries this year alone, and met 100 plus Art of Mondays members from all around the world. Developed some amazing connections. So don't let this come across as I'm not grateful for it, because I am. But the question was, what's the reality and what's the challenge? And the challenge is, it's not always what you see on social media. I'm not just living it up in castles and hanging out with my friends. Like, there's times where I'm sick in Bali and throwing up all night, but have to get up so that I can run the opening ceremony for the group, because people are flown from all around the world to be here for this moment. And that's just one example. Showing up when I don't want to show up, but I also think that is what has allowed Art of Mondays to get to where it is because not just myself, but like a trait of all of our team is that we're passionate about what we do, and then we want this to grow. We want it to be the best it can be, because Art of Mondays creates freedom for us as well. Opportunities to travel, opportunities to meet people. So we're all in this together, and we're all celebrating the wins and trying to overcome the challenges together. So yeah, I think that's the main one. One more quick one I'll add is not having access to normal household things. Sometimes, like some places we booked haven't had a kitchen, no local gym, and for me, if I'm not exercising, then that affects my energy, and which affects my work, and there's flow-on effects of that. So yeah, just the basic things that we often take for granted when we are in a stable home environment. For example, just like a standing desk. Like I spend so many hours now just hunched over my laptop on the couch or something, and that's one thing I used to really appreciate, because I don't like sitting down all day. But yeah, just little things like that most people wouldn't realise, and I didn't even realise that I was on the road, that I needed it.
I think it's important to remember them as well, because it does look glorious, like especially when you're in the castles and you're everywhere, but it's like the reality of it is, yeah, it is a sick life, but there's a trade-off, there's the other side as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you a story about the living in the castle when it looked like a sick life. There was one day in this castle in Croatia, 500 years old, off the coast of Dubrovnik, where anyone on the outside would have seen that there's 15 founders living in this castle and they're having the best time, which for the most part we were. But there was one day where I just either had too much coffee or was under too much stress, or both. I think it was also the day after I had to wake up at 4 a.m. to run a campfire chat, so a virtual call that we do with our members. So lack of sleep, coffee, stress, lots of things going on, despite living in this great place with great people. And I was having like heart palpitations and my muscles were twitching over here. So I got really stressed about that. And I had to take someone aside, James, who was my roommate at the time, now works with us. And I said, dude, like, I feel like my heart's going to explode. Can you like help me? Like, do some breath work, coach me through it, distract me, whatever you think would help. And thank you, James. He did. He helped me through it. But there's been a handful of moments, not necessarily health scares, but moments that are negative, scary, confronting, overwhelming, that nobody who's not there in that moment with us would see. Probably even the members wouldn't have known. If I'm hosting, maybe my co-host will know, but for the most part, deal with everything behind the scenes, show up for the members, and it's not about me, it's about them. So yeah, that's one of the many challenges that we face as hosts.
Especially being in a foreign country without like knowing, I guess, what the hospital system's like, or like if there is like direct access to whatever if you need it as well. Like it's not the comfort of your own home.
Yeah, it didn't even cross my mind, honestly. Like thinking, I was just so in that moment, like, oh, what is going on? I don't think I had travel insurance at the time either. So that's one thing that I still don't, but
Just
definitely made me rethink how I travel and how this is like my life now. I wasn't on a vacation where I can go somewhere for 3 weeks and they're probably not going to lose my luggage. Maybe I won't get insurance. I'll be fine. But like things happen overseas, so yeah, got to be mindful that this is real life now. It's not just a holiday.
James might not be there to give you breath work.
We can find someone.
So you touched on it a little bit earlier, traveling with your team, and now you're actually here with some of your team. We got Rach and Stan and Evan that you brought along with you back to Australia. What's it actually been like back in Australia with some of the team that you've taken with you?
Being back in Australia with the team has been amazing. To be totally honest, most of the time when I come back to Melbourne, which is a lot for me because I've been traveling my whole life. I grew up in LA and then lived in Canada for a while, so probably 20, 30 times I've gotten to come back to Australia and visit home. I say home because I was born here and I lived here, but I've lived in other places too. So that's why it's a bit weird when I usually come back, because it doesn't necessarily feel like home, even though I have friends and family here. It just feels like a place I'm familiar with, and it's always a battle for me because I know when I'm coming back, I'm usually leaving in a month or so or less. So see everybody, catch up with friends, catch up with family, try to be present while also still trying to run the business and look after myself personally as well. But because this time I've had Rach and Stan and Ev here with me, it has felt like a continuation of what this whole year has been, traveling with Art of Monday's team and Art of Monday's members, but we're just in a new place, and it's a place I'm familiar with, and this time I get to play tour guide, because a few weeks ago we were in Perth and Rach was playing tour guide. So I think the fact that we had our own place, like a little Art of Monday's bubble where we could come back together at the end of the day after going on different adventures. I could go see my friends or catch up with my mum, but then come back home and we would talk about it and have a laugh and watch Harry Potter. We're up to the last one. Watched like 6 in the last 7 days. But I think traveling with them, like, it feels like the home away from home, wherever we are, just having the same core people, which has made being here in like the geographical home a lot easier, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. It's interesting, like come back to Melbourne and it feeling, but so does everywhere kind of feel like home then if you have the people around you?
Yeah, I think so. For me, I mean, it's cliche, but the people make the place. And as someone who grew up quite transient, hopping between Melbourne and LA since I was a baby, there was never one place that I felt this is the home, and then I'm always going and coming. It was like, this is home A, this is home B, move to Montreal, this is home C. And these days it's just like, we get Airbnbs, like right now this place is home. It's a bit weird. I think downstairs is haunted, but it's home for the next 2 days because it feels like home, because I feel safe here. I feel safe here because I'm surrounded by my people.
I'm not going to hurt you.
Yeah, and Mikey's here too, and he paid me to say that.
One of my favourite nights at the residency was the Shark Tank pitch night.
Oh yeah.
Can you tell me about the first time you decided to run that?
The first time we did Shark Tank, I think it was on the first residency that I ran with Jai. So that was our first Lombok one, and so that was officially our second residency. The first ever one we did, Jai ran it solo because I came back to Australia to go to a friend's wedding. But the first one we did together, we started to introduce a little bit more structure, and honestly, we've just been experimenting with things and figuring it out. So I don't remember if it was my idea or his idea, but we thought, why not do Shark Tank? Like, everyone here is business savvy, but we can have some fun with it too. So we deliberately did it at the end of the residency, like second or third last night, once everyone had got comfortable with each other, once all of the inside jokes had come up, so that when people are putting together their presentations and you see it on the big screen, there's like photoshopped images of people who are on the residency as well. So it actually just creates connection, creates a lot of laughs. And also for some people, public speaking is quite uncomfortable. And the theme for us, of course, is lean into the uncomfortable, because that's where growth comes from. So there's a few reasons why we did it. We don't do it on all residencies, but when we do, it's usually a little bit more fun than it is business. But that's just the way we frame it. We give people topics. For example, pick a name out of a hat, and one of the names could be taboo or illegal business, and then people have to go down that rabbit hole of getting creative with something that usually they would not have the license to do. So that's where it came from. Mikey's one was exceptionally silly. Classic Mikey. Yeah.
Was it great? I need redemption. I'm like, I need to do a round 2.
It's another one.
So you also talked about this a bit before, but now you're training other people to run the residencies. What's it like handing over this duty, and how do you teach someone to create the same magic that you've been providing?
2 questions in there. So I'll answer the first one. What's it like handing over? I think this is not just for residencies, but anything in business, especially as I would consider myself like the main operator. So I do most of the building. Jai's more in the visionary seat and partnerships and big ideas and branding as well. So most of the things that I build, or most of the things that the company has built, I have personally built it, which means that it's difficult to let go and pass that on to others. But I also believe that that's the only way to grow. We couldn't be where we are if I continue to hold on to anything, and no leader. Like, ask any founder who has grown a successful business and they'll say the same thing. And I think it comes to the idea of delegating when it feels uncomfortable to do so. I believe that that's a really good principle, because if you feel uncomfortable to delegate something, that means that the person you're delegating it to is probably not at the level that you want them to be at, or they are and you don't know it yet because you haven't seen it. Usually I find it's the latter. But people will either rise to the challenge or they won't, and that's when you'll find out really quickly, like, is this person the right person for our team? If they can't do the thing that you'd love them to do, then maybe it's not the best fit. I think that from our team, our perspective, like, we always push people to go one step further and do the thing that makes them feel uncomfortable, because that's where the growth comes from too. Yeah, that's the first part of your question. The second part is how do we contain the magic and pass it on to the next residency host? Process is one thing. I would put it down to process that's easy to learn, finding the right people through a robust interview process, and then creating a system that allows these people to shine and to grow while feeling supported. So first, process. As I said, residencies kind of have a recipe now where we break them into stages. We know what we're usually going to do on day 2, and we usually do the same thing on day 7 with different nuances, but for the most part, we feel like this works really well. So we've got the structure, and then within that structure, how do we run one day of the 8 days? How do we run one activity within that one day? And building frameworks so that the leaders know how to do it. But that's all kind of theory. So once you've got theory, that's great, but what if you don't know how to execute in practice? That's why we hosted a 5-day residency host training bootcamp, where we threw a lot of curveballs and we put people in the deep end. And we said, like, run this, using this knowledge on this topic, and it was intense. But running residencies is intense, so we tried to create like a real life situation or a simulation of what it could look like. And that was processed. Then I also spoke about people. So people is everything. Like, a good host or facilitator makes or breaks the experience. If you have a facilitator who has 9 of the 10 qualities that you look for but lacks 1, then that 1 could have a chain reaction of effects that actually potentially ruins the experience, or at least makes it less powerful than it could be. So we screened really heavily for residency hosts, and looking for not just experience but attitude. And if someone has the right attitude, they can grow and they can learn, they can take on feedback. If someone's just there seeing it more as like a job, then it's probably not going to work. And I apply that to everyone that we hire, actually. Looking for people who want to be with the company and grow it and see it succeed, see members flourish and create great connections. And yeah, so we end up having like 13 people. There's training. Yeah, that's probably all I have to say on that part. On the system though, so this is really important, is just because we've put people through the theory first of all and then the simulation, that doesn't mean that we can just now throw them into a residency and expect that they'll crush it, even though they have the tools, because there's things that they haven't experienced before, and the situations will come up where they don't know what to do, and they're not expected to know what to do because it's the first time. So we have kind of like a shadowing system in place where someone like myself would be the lead host and have, let's say, Mikey's being the next residency host. He'll be there to shadow me. That doesn't mean he's just like observing. He probably is actually watching. He probably is running it, and I'm more in the background, like coaching him and giving him tips and feedback as we go. So then only if we get to the end of that and I'm like, yep, Mikey, you're good to go, you can lead one like solo, although never technically solo, then we would deem him like qualified. So yeah, putting in those, I would say it's a safeguard in place so that the hosts feel supported, the members have the best experience because they have a trained qualified host and they have a shadow host with them. And then as a company we feel confident that the experience is going to be what we want it to be as well.
Because I guess as well as like what I found interesting was some nights the energy of the place would just be probably unexpected, or maybe like not in the simulation or not in the theory. Like there was one night where everyone was just in a silly mood and we couldn't stop laughing over dinner, and it was just like all the plans kind of got thrown out the window. It's like, okay, this tonight, like we can't have structure, we can't have this, we just need to let it be what it is. And it's like, I feel like that's probably what only would come from being in it and seeing the situations actually unfold.
Yeah, I think a situation like that, being skilled enough to know when to step in and when not to step in. It's quite easy for a facilitator to have a schedule and follow it. But I think that could make a good facilitator. What would make a great facilitator is someone who has a schedule, but then also understands what's happening with the group, can read the energy of the room, can see what emotions are at play, what's the dynamic between this part of the group and this part of the group. Do we feel like they're not connecting as much as they should? Are they connecting at the right amount? Is it too focused on business and not enough on personal connection? All of these questions that once we have the awareness of that, we can change the flow. So a great example is, this has happened in real life as well. We plan to go for a hike, and on that hike we ask some questions to allow people to bond. But what if it's raining? But then we can't really go for the hike, and either you can cancel the experience and let everyone sit back and chill, and maybe they play a few board games, or maybe they catch up on work on their laptops. For a first time facilitator who hasn't gone through our process, they might either, one, still try to do the hike because they think it's the right thing to do, just tell everyone to bring a rain jacket. Or two, they might say, we're going to cancel it, you guys do your own thing, we'll meet you for dinner. Both sound like great options. But in reality, the purpose of the hike wasn't the hike, it was the connection. So we still needed to facilitate that connection, and we need a host who can think on their feet, and then within 20 minutes, while everyone's getting ready for the next activity, we say, all right guys, come back here in 20, we're going to do something different, it's a surprise, bring your journals, bring a pen, leave your phones in your room, and then everyone's back, they don't know what's happening yet, but the purpose is still connection, so there's infinite possibilities of what you can run. And an example of something I've run in that situation is just like a speed dating session, where you set up 5 sections around the room, everyone can write anonymous questions, and then you pick one out of the hat and then speak for 5 minutes and rotate. And if that's on like day 2 or day 3, then you're starting to build one-on-one connections with people, which usually wouldn't have been done to this point because it would be majority group stuff. So that is the kind of thing that I think separates, like, as you said, like when everyone was cracking up laughing and couldn't control themselves, I think someone, like the wrong move there would be to try and contain it. It's like, guys, like we're not here to laugh and like we have stuff that we want to talk about, but actually no, the group's having a good time. So just let it be and then join in and then guide it slowly to where you want it to go.
Yeah.
But I've messed up hundreds of times. All of our facilitators have. We're just all learning as we go, and trying to do the best we can.
Yeah, it's not something you can just watch a YouTube video on and learn how to do. So you've seen hundreds of founders come through Art of Mondays. Can you tell me about a transformation that you've witnessed in someone? You don't have to mention names if you don't want, but if there's something that comes to mind.
Yeah, I can mention plenty. I'll drop a name. Shout out to Melissa. So Melissa came to the first residency that I was on, the one in Lombok, and at the time she was working with 2 co-founders for a podcasting studio, and she was doing the majority of the work and for less equity than the others as well, and really felt like she was kicking a rock up a hill, like just wasn't gaining momentum the way she wanted it to. Not because of her, but because of the co-founders and them not pulling their weight. But because she'd spent so many months on this, it really felt like the sunk cost fallacy, where she wanted it to work because she's put so much effort and time into it. But by the end of the residency, and after many conversations with everyone else who was there and a lot of reflecting time, not too long after the residency, Melissa decided to step away from the podcasting business, and very shortly after launched her own e-commerce brand, which was more meaningful to her. It was different products such as water bottles that had custom engravings based on inspirational and motivational quotes that meant something to her. And so that was off the ground very quickly, and helped out through a few one-on-ones with different members who could point her in the right direction. And then not too long after that, while that was still going on the side, she actually co-founded another company. It was an app, kind of like the Tinder for e-commerce brands, and she did that alongside another Art of Mondays member. So just to go from working on something that she wasn't passionate about, feeling like she had to starting not one but 2 things as a result of conversations that happened at Art of Mondays, that was pretty epic. And there's like so many more stories like that, even like more personal stories, like Connor and Victor, who met on the first residency and then have been like traveling the world together full time ever since as best friends, and now just launched a supplement brand together. So yeah, I could share 20 of these if I wanted to.
It's pretty sick to see. I think that's one of the other enticing things about being part of the community is like actually seeing the transformation in people, where it's like, I feel like something that Art of Mondays members have in common is they listen to feedback and they want to put in the work to put themselves in a better position. It's not, no one's staying stagnant. There's always like movement.
Yeah, it comes back to what we were saying before about why we started Art of Mondays, is the values. So it makes sense that people don't want to be stagnant, because that's the kind of person we attract. Someone who listens to all the podcasts, has read all the self-help books, like has experiments with biohacking, and it's it's a pretty cookie cutter kind of formula in a way. Has gone down the dropshipping rabbit hole, was selling Coke cans or lolly bags in high school, like all of these traits, even video games, like people who are obsessed with one sort of video game growing up, whether it's Minecraft or League of Legends or whatever, but just that desire to like get to the next level of that game. Like business is just a game in a way.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Stealing cigarettes from your mum and selling them to kids at school.
Was that you?
That was Heather.
That's great.
I know one of your reasons for starting the business, one of the values, is in building meaningful connections. Do you find that you have found what you were looking for in that aspect?
Yeah, I think I have. As I said before, I'm living with some of my team, and like we're just, if you came over during a dinner or like while we're watching Harry Potter or something, there would be no way that you would think that we work together, just because we're absolute idiots cracking jokes all the time. But that's because we feel so comfortable around each other, and we've all started to call ourselves the travelling circus, so I think that says enough. Where not only have I found meaningful connections with people, but people who share the same lifestyle, because if I didn't, I think I would be going from one place to another, constantly having to say goodbye to new connections I've made, which I still do sometimes, but I think that would get old pretty quick.
All right, mate. Well, there's one question left. We've made it through the whole interview. You've done a great job.
Thank you.
There's a bit of a two-part question. What's next for Art of Mondays, and then also what's next for Evan?
What's next for Art of Mondays is I could answer this two different ways, and I think it's a combination of these two different ways. So the first is not really change too much. Like we're still gonna have the same application process for people so that we can attract the same type of person with the same values. We are still gonna run in-person events, we're still gonna run virtual events, and provide resources to help our community and our members grow and connect. So that's never really going to change. Our vision, our mission, is to create spaces for ambitious people to belong. And right now there's two spaces for that. There's the Founder Family and there's the Founder Sports Club. We are, of course, open to creating more spaces in the future, but we also know the power of focus and wanting to make both of these products, these communities, as great as they can be. And what does that look like? Or as great as it can be look like? Well, what can we be like the best in the world at? And right now, we think that it's the in-person experiences that are going to take Art of Mondays to the next level. And I won't give too much away, but we are wanting bigger events, more people, more marketable and bucket list worthy destinations and accommodations. Maybe it's a Art of Mondays experience on a private island with 100 members, or maybe it is renting a whole village and having like a summer camp style experience with big names from the business world coming in to say hello. Maybe we're having Stephen Bartlett as a guest speaker, and Jai would love Richard Branson to come by and say hello. So doing what we do, but better and bigger, and when we do that, there's more word of mouth. People talk about it, people share online content, which attracts more members, bringing in more members, allows for new connections, allows for new opportunities as well. From a business perspective, that's more revenue that allows us to create more experiences. So we're just always trying to not get stale and do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Not the motivating factor for this, but something also to be conscious of is copycats. There's a lot of other communities coming out there that are starting to take Art of Monday's benefits and branding and that kind of thing, and we take it as a compliment in a way, but also we as the first mover need to keep innovating and keep building our moat, and the only way to do that is to take more risks and do more things that no one has ever done before. So that's what we're really excited about for 2026, and we're in the process right now of creating and booking our first, we don't have a name for it yet, but the next big thing. And we plan on doing a few of those every year. So hope to see you there, Mikey.
I'm so down for Item Monday summer camp.
Yeah.
I'll sign up instantly.
That's cool. And then what else for Item Mondays in general is we are open to the idea of new products, but as I said, not yet. But if we do bring them in, it will be for like one or two reasons. One is to reach a new market of people who we can help grow as people, grow as founders. Or it would be to have something that's more permanent, such as real estate, Item Mondays HQ, maybe like a university style campus where young founders can come and build their thing. So yeah, some seeds there for ideas in the future, but for the next, say, like 1 to 2 years, keep doing what we're doing, just do it bigger and better with more focus, simplify, do less, but do it well.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what's next for Evan?
What's next to Evan? I'm excited about what's next to Evan because as we now have residency hosts trained, myself as well as Jai and Rach don't necessarily need to be on every residency, which means we can pick and choose which ones we want to lead based on how we're feeling and which places inspire us most. But what that allows for is at least 14 days back every month that I didn't have before. Let's call it 10 days of hosting and 2 days of travel either side. And with that, I don't know what's going to come, but I just bought myself a Kindle and a new camera lens so I can get more into the creative side. We want to travel slower. Yeah, I think that's the main thing, is still make the most of this lifestyle that we've been able to create for ourselves of location freedom, but do it at our pace where we can be settled and have a place that feels like home and make home cooked meals and find a local gym and go for the same run once or twice a week and get familiar with the area, and then when we feel ready, move on to the next place. So more traveling out of curiosity rather than necessity is going to be the main theme. And then personally, we just love to slow down, read more, nap more, think more, walk more, because it's been a pretty hectic couple of years building this, and for a lot of that time also still working in a full-time or part-time role. And yeah, I'm honestly just tired. I want to have a bit of a rest. So that's what I'm looking forward to most.
I think you deserve that. I think some extra long naps are well due in 2026.
Thanks,
brother. But yeah, thank you for sitting down and doing this, and thank you for everything that you've done for me as well. You changed the trajectory of my business, and I feel like I've grown a lot since all our conversations, and I probably speak on behalf of a lot of Item Mondays members when I say like this. This is really special, and it wouldn't be what it is without all the things that you talked about here, about the grind and the hours, and even before when you're at your 9 to 5 and having the ideas for this and then actually putting it into action. So yeah, you've changed the lives of many people. So thank you, man, and take those naps because we're going to need a lot more from you as well.
Thanks, Mikey. Appreciate it, brother.
No worries. Thank you, bro. And also back in episode 2, I actually talked about the New Zealand residency way back then, actually where the idea for the YouTube channel came from. So if you want to find out more, you can go there and watch that episode 2. But bye for now.
Before you go, I want to share what this means to me for your viewers. So this is the Good Ideas hoodie. In New Zealand, when I first met Mikey, I kind of stole his original hoodie, and it just felt so cozy on me. And he said, "Oh, I'll give you one day." And he has made me, I can't find the tag, but he's made me a Good Human hoodie, and he messaged me about 5 months ago now saying, "Hey dude, whenever you're back in Melbourne, we'd love to make you a Good Human, Good Ideas hoodie. I do this for people who who have had an impact in my life or are doing good things. And so often I'm just like so deep in actually working and building and traveling, and it's just like one day to the next, and incremental improvements and incremental changes that I find it hard sometimes to acknowledge the impact that Hard Mondays actually had. So when I got that message from Mikey, it brought a tear to my eye, and I felt really proud of what I was able to achieve. So whenever I wear this, I'll think of Mikey and I'll think of that impact. So I appreciate it, brother.
I hope you're wearing it every day then, if you're going to be thinking of me.
Yeah, not in summer, but
Not in summer.
pretty warm.
Thank you, man.
Anyway, thanks for watching, anyone who's got through this. See you in the next one.
Bye.